What up, guys? Man with Drama Chronicles. Getting right into it. Movie section. Went and saw Undertone. It is technically a movie that came out last year at the Canadian Film Festival, I think in the summer, but it is being released officially through A24 starting this week. Um, exactly what it says in the name. Undertone. A bunch of creepy, just drawing you in, eerie, just sounds, things that you feel in a room, the creaking of a door, the random steps, a room settling because the weather's changing outside. Those kind of undertones seeping throughout the movie. A bunch of cutaway scenes to dark sections, and you're thinking to yourself, do I need to squint really hard? Do I need to look a little harder at this little section that they're not in technically, but they're showing us this scene and that scene, so it's something we're missing. A bunch of leading you somewhere that isn't exactly where you want to go. It only showed two full characters. Main character, Evie, played by Nina Kiri, who I have never seen in anything. If you've watched The Handmaid's Tale, I suppose you have seen her. She's in that show. I know that now. And it was her mother, who was bedridden for the whole movie. And it was essentially her being a caretaker, her mom being on death's door almost at the end of her life, her also being a podcaster, choosing to, if you would, live this life where she's taking care of her mom at all times, kind of almost guiltily taking care of her mom at all times while she's got a full-fledged relationship, has a man who wants her to come home and see him, and those things are kind of not really talked about a whole lot, but are kind of lightly brought up. She watches a video. She gets sent a video that they're told, if you watch it, you're going to kill yourself. 97 people had watched it and they killed themselves after watching it. And she watches 12 seconds of it. And the guy says, turn it off. She turns it off herself. And she has a close friend, Justin, who is on the other side of the phone calls whenever they do their podcast together. And they always talk. And so the movie just kind of starts with it already being kind of set up in this area where you know it's in this room, it's in this house. It's gonna put you in a space to almost think about being enclosed and not having a way to escape. That's the exact feeling that I got from the get-go of the movie. They get emailed 10 audio files. At the beginning of the audio files, it says Inforum tenant or something, which is just something weird. But it also said don't always listen to everything, is what one of the messages said also. And I mean, come on, guys, if you've seen any horror movies, we know this shit. We're not stupid. We're not stupid. 10 audio files. What would I assume happens the further you get into these audio files that you don't know where they came from? They were sent to you by a random person whose name was numbers and then letters and then succeeding numbers, and yeah. That seems normal. And so the joke was immediately, oh, I'm sure it was just bullshit videos, and it was Justin immediately saying, no, I clicked on one and you actually hear people talking and they go through the videos. So the movie is essentially spent kind of walking around them going through these 10 audio files to kind of unearth if it's true or not, because their podcast is dedicated to debunking if you guys are truthful or not. Kind of like when I went and saw Shelby Oaks last year and they were trying to go and find the sister that had her friends doing the same thing, trying to debunk paranormal activity and debunk possessions and what haunted houses and stuff. It's like the same thing. Their podcast is the Undertone podcast, trying to play all things creepy and debunk them as being falsified, proven wrong, and all a hoax, all these things. So the movie basically spends more time delving us into paranoia, delving us into what are we really hearing? Is it coming from the headphones? Is it really what Evie's seeing? Is it what Evie's hearing? Is that light flicker? Is that because of what she's doing right there? The sounds that they're finding? It's children's nursery rhymes, Baba Black Sheep and Ring Around the Posies and London Bridges that are being played backwards to elicit I guess a ritual to bring a demon to the world. So it was just a movie that kind of was throwing you more loops than it was truthful, actually understanding what was going on. I think the thing I like the most about Undertone is that it definitely wants you to think you know what you're really watching. It wants you to have a hypothesis, a brainstorm, and say this is exactly what it is. Nothing can debunk it. And then it wants to kind of throw something brand new in front of you like 5 minutes later, so that it has you second guessing. And I would just say it like this for Undertone: don't believe what you see in the movie is kind of how I feel, because I would say the ending was so fucked. The ending was more confusing than helpful. Like, you don't need closure. You understand what the demon that they are talking about, this demon at the beginning of the movie that preys on children, and you sing songs backwards, and it's constantly trying to kill children and kill mothers who are expecting. And that's why Evie being 6 weeks pregnant, us finding out in the movie, is kind of that moment where you're like, okay, so she's 6 weeks pregnant, maybe this demon's coming to find her because it wants her. But then to find out more and more about her and why she is okay with her mom being on hospice, if you would, being sick, needing care, even though she feels like she doesn't want to do it all the time. It's a really weird divide in the movie, and you kind of watch her, if you almost want to say it, kind of go manic, where she's constantly sitting in the same room, in the same spaces. All of a sudden grabs crayons, goes to her mom's room, keeps touching her Virgin de Guadalupe statue is what I think it is, keeps touching it over and over and over, moving it to different places, and keeps finding it, keeps seeing it, keeps thinking that her mom is talking to her in the movie, keeps feeling like her mom, who has not spoken in years, who is essentially in a coma, a vegetative state, has not said anything, going up to her mom and screaming at her, and what did you say, and what are you talking about, and a lot of paranoia, but expected paranoia in a movie that's called Undertone. So, not shocking, not off the walls crazy. I like the ending of the movie the most. The last 5 to 10 minutes was excellent. That's my favorite part by far, because it kept you really freaked out. Honestly, I've been thinking about it more, and people have been saying it a lot too. From what I've been seeing, is really think about a haunted house and the kind of shit you're gonna hear in a room that you don't know you need to get out of. Kind of shit where just desserts isn't even the word to say for Evie. Kind of, you knew what you were in and you knew what you signed up for, but you chose to stay. Kind of moment. So you drowned yourself on accident, but you fucked everything in the process. And so it was I think it was good enough to go see in theaters. I think it was fun enough to enjoy, but I'd say don't hurt your brain trying to overprocess what you're watching. They're going to throw a bunch of fodder at you in the first 15 to 20 minutes, a bunch of in-betweener things that are issues they should deal with, but they're not dealing with them at all. And then it's going to be a movie essentially just focused on Evie and her mom. It really is based off of them. Those two is what the movie is honing, is like zoning in on, is focusing on the most. And it's going to really dive into that kind of conversation with Evie almost finding a way to guilt trip herself into doing things she shouldn't have to do, forcing herself to stay in a space that is not healthy for her, and constantly going in and diving deeper into things she probably should have stopped a long time ago. But she keeps going deeper. So, yeah. I think overall I'd probably give it a 6.5, 7 out of 10. I don't think I'm gonna go back and watch this movie a lot. I think the one thing I would say is I get bored when movies have a bunch of cryptic scenes in between the introduction and the climax. You have a lot of scenes in between that aren't impactful, that aren't showing a lot, that aren't changing a whole lot. It gets harder to sit there and just commit to watching it. So there were at least 2 or 3 scenes that were just boring, that were just watching a podcast and we were sitting there hearing it and getting kind of tired. It's just how it is. It's what happens in movies like this. They have to find a way to drag out certain scenes, and they did. And it was okay, but room for improvement. And if you wanted to drag it out, give us something that's worthwhile to watch in those moments, not just her manically walking around or just searching on her fucking laptop for audio files or playing it backwards and repeat and repeat and repeat and repeat. Ugh, okay, it's fine, we get it. But those scenes didn't even pay off at the end of the movie, so then it feels pointless. But it is what it is. Not the worst movie. Not crazy. Not just so terrifying, but at the same time, eerie enough to make you think about random sounds you might hear in your headphones when you're playing a song, a video, pay mind. Okay, it's a little bit more because of a movie like Undertone. So go see it. It's in theaters right now. Just started playing in theaters yesterday and into this weekend. So I don't know how long it'll make it in theaters. It didn't have a big budget, so I don't think A24 will keep it in theaters longer than 2 or 3 weeks. But go see it. Tell me what you guys think. Hope you guys enjoy it. Like I had a pretty good time. So I know I have my judgments, but it's a horror movie, so I was there and I enjoyed it enough. So there it is. All right, guys. This has been Midwest Brownway Chronicles. I'm your Midwest Brownway Jalen Brownford. Thanks for watching any of my videos. You guys have a good week. I'll talk to you guys next week. Peace and love always.